In the United States, there are more than 4 million fast food workers who work in some of the most undesirable conditions with little compensation for their work. In our country, there is a federal minimum wage of $7.25, which was established back in 2009. The federal government has attempted to up this minimum wage, however, has failed every time since 2009. Since its implication, the cost of living has gone up, inflation has shot through the roof, and many fast food workers are simply just left in the dust to find the money they are losing due to these increases. Countries from around the world have begun to catch on to this worldwide movement known as the Fight for $15. This movement is fighting for the rights for minimum wage employees to receive $15 an hour, as well as the right to create a union within their workforce. This fight is not only changing the scope of countries around the world, but it is also changing the United States as a whole. In our country, people have very little say, and companies essentially run the government. Through this fight, citizens around the world are fighting to take back their countries by forcing the government for once to listen to the people that they represent.
Though it at times feels as though there is an insufficient awareness of it, the fact remains that currently there is indeed a struggle among working people around the country to increase the minimum wage. Called at times the Fight for 15 or the Fight for a $15 an hour minimum wage, this movement is attempting to only partially adjust upwards the pay working people should receive based on years of inflation and wildly increased worker productivity.
I fought for my country. I served in the United States Marine Corps, 2 tours in Iraq. I'm a proud countryman. But I'm also a man who came home after serving in Fallujah and Al-Ramadi, and I can't even put food on the table for my family, gentlemen. I can't even afford to put a roof over my child's head with the amount of money that I'm making. I worked 45 hours this week, and my manager pulled me over to the side and told me that you can't have these 5 hours of overtime at time and a half. She told me she was going to take my 5 hours and put them on next week's check so she wouldn't have to give me my time and a half.
That's illegal.
And disperse it out. But it happens. It happened. I served my great country, and I came home, and this is my passion. I love to cook for KFC. I like to feed the people. I like to see the smiles on their faces when they come in that store. I got a Purple Heart. I got wounded in combat. Guess where I was? I was back on the battlefield the next day. I don't want my son to look at me like I'm something less because I have to work for $7.25 when I bust my butt every day and I take pride in what I do, gentlemen. We have a voice and we want it to be heard. We want 15.
Parent mom, working 2 part-time jobs, just trying to, live and give my daughter the life that, she definitely deserves. My daughter's name is Sienna. She's just pretty much, a vibrant child who enjoys life. She likes to dance. She's into nature. She loves to go. She's a person that's always on the go. I haven't been on vacation maybe 4 years up until this point. It's just been work. I work Monday through Sunday. If I have a day off, it's a Tuesday, and majority of that day is not really a day off. Minimum wage being raised, it means a lot because it would give me opportunity to, being more active in my child's life. Things get very hard because, you want to give your kid the best. And it's very hard living and working, and she's my drive.
Shonda Roberts, I'm 39 years old, and I work at KFC. I make $9 an hour. I probably bring home gross $750 a month. My rent is $550, so I can't even put food in the house with the remainder of that paycheck left over in a month. $15 would help, just me being able to go buy me basic necessities, socks, undergarments. I don't need the luxuries of life, I just need the bare necessities.
I want to show you something. This is my 2-week paycheck stub for McDonald's, only $500. Many of my coworkers make even less. I want to show you something else. This is a receipt for my son's childcare, which was $100 a week. I also have to pay heat and water, which is $300. On top of that, I have to pay $500 for rent. I can't pay my bills and support my son off of the poverty wages that I make, even after 5 years working at McDonald's. That is why I'm here fighting for $15 and union rights. That is why we are all fighting for $15 and union rights. That is why tens of thousands of people marched in New York City on April 15th, in Los Angeles, in Atlanta, in Detroit, from Japan to Brazil, even to garment workers in Bangladesh.
As we can clearly see, there's an issue out there that many people are deciding to look beyond and just ignore as a whole. This is the issue of low pay that many hardworking citizens are fighting against across the world. Unfortunately, our society has hit a tipping point where workers are demanding higher wages while employers are asking for longer hours at the same rate. Both sides are fighting back and forth, but truthfully, neither side is getting anywhere with their arguments. For some critics, they argue that these higher wages will result in less hours worked and higher prices, while the Fight for 15 demonstrators are literally fighting to live life. Many times these workers don't even have enough money to be able to live life with just the bare necessities. Many times they are unable to provide food, clothing, working utilities, and many of the things that we sometimes just take for granted. These workers do much more than just what our society thinks of as people who flip burgers. In any given day within their restaurants, they can serve as cooks, servers, security guards, maintenance workers, custodians, customer sales representatives, and much, much more. Each individual comes from their own walk of life, and each has their own unique story.